It often happens that you would like to use some of the default fields differently than how Component Builder is actually implementing it. Now, what is the default fields? If you go to add a new admin view, or if you go to an admin view that already exists, like I've opened one here, you'd see that there is this little note just above adding fields, and it says that the ID, the asset ID, the state, the access, the ordering, the created by, the date created, modified by, date modified, checkout, checkout time, version, hits, meta key, meta description, and metadata is already added to the view. So these are your default fields that always gets added to the view even if you don't create them. In fact, you don't need to create them. But I have seen that sometimes you might want to display some of these fields in a different area of the application. You see, currently the ID field and published, where is it? I think that's state. Yeah, the state field is the only field that is being shown by default in the list view. So here you can see there's the ID field and there's the status field, and the ordering field. But the ordering field obviously doesn't show the order number. You basically click on that button there, and then you can move them, order them. So all that is done by default. And so as you can see, the other values are not displayed in the list view. And so I had a client once saying to me that they would like to actually see the date that something was created and also by whom it was created. And so I had to adapt Component Builder so that those things can also be overwritten. And this is exactly what we've done. What we've done is, if you create a field in Component Builder as you would normally create a field, and you give it any of these names, you see, created by or created date, but obviously exactly the same name, then it actually will override the default. So in this specific view, the job order view, excuse me, there is a field created by. So I can open that in a new tab. There's also a field created, and that's basically the date. Let me just see where it is. Oh, there it is, created date. I'll also open that one. So in the field, you see that I basically used the name created by. It's obviously a user is the type of field, and the label is created by. The user that created this is the description, and that's all that's needed for a user type. Then in the created date, basically it's a calendar type, and I used created, the date it was created, the label, and some of its defaults. Now these values, if you don't know them, you can actually go and look at the compiled field. Let me show you that. So in the back end of your component, that is administrator, components, then the relevant component, you'd open models, and then there's a place called forms, and you would basically open that, and you'd see a list of forms that correspond to the backend views that you've created. So in our case, this job order is the one, and you'd obviously open the XML. So you double click on it, and then scrolling down, you can look at modified by and some of its default. So if you're going to overwrite this value, then you need to update or basically use these values here. Make sure this is the only part that is, you shouldn't change it. If you change it, we won't know that you're trying to override one of the default fields, because it basically uses the name as the identifier. Okay, so back here we basically created the fields. That was the first part. Just close them again. And then we would like any other field, we simply went to fields and we added those fields. So here you would see, you scroll down, there's the created date and there's the created by. We add both to be shown and also the position and how it should be treated, and we said it must be in the left tab of the 15th. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. If you would like the fields to again display in the same place as before in the edit view, then you would add it to the 15th tab. I reckoned that it's very unlikely that somebody would create so many tabs. Now, what is a tab? If you were to go to the view, then this is tab 1, this is tab 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, since publishing can really vary, it wasn't making any sense to me that I would target it in any way directly as the 5th or the 4th. So I took a very high number, 15. It's not very obvious, and this is why I had to make this tutorial. If you select the number 15, it will basically add these two fields in the same place it would if it had to build it for you. But if for some reason you say, no, I want to also display the field in a different tab, you could actually click and say, let's say put it in the 3rd tab. You click save, and then you would compile the component, install it, and then you see 1, 2, 3, it's in the 3rd tab, it's showing up. So that's all you had to do, is you had to say in what tab you would like it now to display. If you go here, you'd see that it no longer shows in the publish tab, the create date. It's only the created by that shows up here. So it literally moves the field to a different tab, as well as now displays the field in the list view. And that simply because you added the value, the fields here, you said that you wanted to display and you added to the 3rd tab. Now I'm going to move it back to 15, which is the tab number if you want it to be in its default place. So I click save, and then save there, compile this, install it, basically updating the component, refresh the page, and now if we go to where it was, it's no longer showing there, it's not showing there, it's not showing there, it's back in published in the correct place. That's where it will usually anyway be set if you don't override it. So using the 15th tab as the target puts it in its default place, and if you use another tab number, it removes it from its default place and puts it where you have just assigned it to be placed. Well, that is how you can override the custom added fields of a backend view. I hope that will be very helpful. Thank you for watching.